To me, like the title of the film is like a much broader thing. I think like it's meant to describe like some kind of reinvention or like rediscovery rather than something literal because, like photos can't be refound.
Hi, Max. How are you?
I'm swell, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Rebuilding is a lovely film. It's beautiful. Such a beautiful piece. Thank you so much for chatting with me about it. Where did it come from?
Ah, good question. Easier to ask than it is to answer. I think the like the very basics are kind of just like some of the big questions of life that we all face. Specifically, I guess I wrote it at a time where like I was both moving home and back where I'd grown up, and that felt very simple but also complicated as it often is, and was really trying to understand what a home is. Is it like the town I remembered? Is it the town as it is now? Or is it, what I hope it will be? And then, of course, how hopeful can anyone be really in a world that often is a scary one? And then I guess as all that was happening, there was a fire that burned down my grandma's house, which at first sort of seemed like, confirmation of like the worst fears and the end of the world, but then did become this sort of fascinating like source of like it did kind of bring a family together and a community together. And of course it was hard and sad, but there was like this melancholy sort of hope that came out of it. And the movie kind of became like a tribute to that.
W was the community involved? Like, is this the same location or is this?
No, I mean, yes, like that happened in California, like different forests, different mountains, different people. But we did like, I know all the neighbors on that road that I didn't know before, even though all
Yeah.
those homes are gone. And so I guess I sort of in the script took some of the morality of that experience, I suppose, and like put it into Colorado, where I was living and thinking about these things and sort of built the story out of sort of more like folk tale-esque characters almost, and so it's like a parable, but that's the background.
Yeah, I mean you just sit with these characters and you love them. Like this is the thing, you love these characters, but and you just feel for them the whole time.
I hope so. I mean, it was really important to me to do something where you kind of felt like everyone was the good guy.
Hmm.
Obviously, movies, a lot of them need bad guys, and like that's what makes them fun. But I was really curious if there was a way to tell this story without that, which is hard. Like it's challenging from a like a filmmaking perspective, but it just I don't know. I really wanted to see if it could be done with this story.
Yeah, like forgive me if this sounds cliche, but in stories like this, oftentimes there's some sort of rich magnate who's plowing the lands or something like that and ta stealing homes from people. But this just feels like life has stolen from them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like I don't know. I see it both ways because like there are, bad actors in the world, and I don't mean to suggest that there aren't, but I guess I just also didn't like sometimes the questions are bigger and harder, and by reducing them into a villain, like we lose track of some of the tougher ones. And when it comes to fire and climate change and like there are along with like the pain that the choices we've made, like, and what it's done to the planet, what that's doing to us as humans and to the people who are least responsible for those choices. But there's also like, we have built-in forests that need to burn. Um, that's a that's a big, tough question, do we continue to build and know that we'll have to rebuild? Like maybe we can do that. Do we rethink where we build? Like I don't know. Anyway, but it seemed like just having one villain kind of made all that stuff a little too easy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I mean, and I wanted to ask you, what in your mind do you think it takes to rebuild after loss like this? I mean, you've seen it in your own family, and you mentioned about home. Um, but we see these characters, and they just feel lost. What do you think it means to really rebuild?
Wow. I I don't know. Like I think in so many ways, like you just you can't really. And um to me, like the title of the film is like a much broader thing. I think like it's meant to describe like some kind of reinvention or like rediscovery rather than something literal because, like photos can't be refound. Um, I I hope like in the story and in the story of the Dusty, the main character, like there's a bit of like what he really feels like he lost more than anything was kind of his legacy and like the land and the tradition and of caring for the land and working it and farming it and sort of this the stewardship the, and the pressure of that and the burden of that and the responsibility of that. And I think by the end he realizes there is another way to carry forth that legacy, that the change was going to be inevitable whether there was a fire or not. So yeah, I guess it's like it is the people around us, it is the people we love, and it can be the place itself. And I think if we can like remember to care for those things, and if they can care for us, like we can keep going and we can keep moving. But of course, you can't build things back the way they were ever.
Yeah, and there's that wonderful conversation he has where he talk where they're sitting around. I think they're sitting around the fire, and he says, he makes me feel like there are things we lost that I won't ever remember, or things I already forgot." And he's just sort of trying to wrestle with this fact that these things that he just can't get back, he can't get back after the loss. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And it's really beyond the things, it's the memories that those things hold and the associations that those things hold. Like that's the power of things, and it's only when you lose things do you realize really like the significance of them was it was not the paper, it's not the plastic, it's not the wood, it's who you held the thing with or who it depicted. It's like it's all the memories.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you too, without giving any spoilers, there in one poignant scene, I believe it's the grandmother, makes mention of the fact that you got what you got and it's always enough or you got what you got and it's always enough for me. Um, I wondered if you think that's a statement like that is true, because I think you're right. Like we attach our memories to things, and these are people who are really struggling. Do you think that there's truth in a statement like that?
I hope so. I don't know, like in the sense that the whole movie is an expression of hope. And there's like the movie choose to see like to like take an optimistic track on these things. Like in the case of the film, this is a character who, you know, I guess like in a very sort of reductive sort of way, like had more than he realized.
Mm,
And the grandmother saying that is, I think she's not saying like you know what you have and it's enough. It's you have more than you know.
mm,
Hard to like claim as a blanket if that's true of all people or the world. But I think it's true of some of us, certainly. Um, and I don't know, in a techno-capitalistic world, like it is easy to like lose track of those basic things. Like those basic things we need that hopefully we have. So I guess that was what was sort of kicking around.
mm, mm. How did Josh get involved? He does a wonderful job in this film. He's having kind of a moment right now. It feels like Josh is popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
How did he get involved in rebuilding?
He, the quest was really just like both of a very simple and challenging thing of like to find a great actor, and someone who could kind of fit with a lot of people who hadn't acted before and like real farmers and hippies and stuff. Um, and there's kind of like a two-part thing I was looking for, one of which is like someone with the skills to give this very quiet character who's been stripped of everything, like to still give him a humanity, and like make him someone you care about and can watch, which is hard to do with so little dialogue or anything else. And the other was like a kind and generous soul to be at the heart of a very off the grid sort of funky production. And he, I think, like responded to the ecological themes of the story, which, even though he's from a different part of the world, like for him, it's more like floods, I think, but it's the questions are familiar. And yeah, it was great to have him out in Colorado for a couple months.
Yeah, he does a great job. I know we're starting to run out of time, but we talked about the term home. We see Dusty, rebuilding metaphorically and literally his home. What in your mind makes a home?
The, I suppose the what makes a home is like the same fragile tightrope that makes the present, which perhaps ironically is just like some combination of like our sense of the past and our sense of the future. So maybe a home, like, if we have some understanding of what a place was and some hopes for what it can be, you know, maybe that's a home.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I really appreciate that, Max. I really do. The film is beautiful. There's so much there to love and to cling to.
Oh,
Um,
very much.
I appreciate the chance to chat with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Pleasure speaking with you too. Max Walker-Silverman, the writer director of Rebuilding. Max, have a great day.
You as well.
Thanks so much.